Could the infantry humble the House of Black? Wait, who are the infantry?
Julie Hart's back defending the TBS title, and she had a match against Trish Adora from the Infantry. Wait, who the heck are the Infantry?
And has Adam Copeland finally taken this feud with Christian Cage over the edge? All that and more in this week's review of Collision. Hit it, Dave!
Hey, Daver here. Welcome to the show.
Hey, this guy's Chad.
And Chandler's back as well. How we doing today, Dave?
Hey, we're up bright and early on a beautiful Monday morning. To do what? Talk about wrestling.
Exactly.
What could go wrong?
I just want to thank ExxonMobil for this beautiful 80-degree day in March. Thank you.
Yeah, feeling beautiful. Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful day. I'm into that. But enough about the old man weather talk. Let's get into Collision. Or rather, we should probably talk about a little bit of news.
What's in the news?
Well,
No, really, what's in the news?
I don't think I have anything. There was a really, really good Rock promo on SmackDown. Like all-timer, I would say.
Yeah.
Ric Flair called him the greatest ever after that.
I mean, like, I've been doubting Rock as soon as he came back, and then he turned heel, and he's been doing pretty well. And then he cut that promo where he started it off with a funny concert. I was like, is this it? Like, it's funny. And then he basically was like, you know, Cody, you want to give your belt to your mom. I'm going to take my belt. I'm going to beat you with it. It's going to be covered in your blood. And then I'm going to give that to your mom. Basically was his promo. So it was pretty impactful.
Yeah. Between that and just the new packaging with the lightning and all that, whoo, dude looks like $1 billion.
I think there are plans for him after Mania, but I really hope he sticks around because he's doing really well in this new role. I think it'd be a great shame. And he's been on like SmackDown every week since he's come back.
He's been on television more than Roman Reigns has this year.
Let's go Rock. Can we get it? Let's get a little clippy clap for the Rock. Dave, you don't have to participate.
They should give him the belt, right?
No. Someone could be good in their role and not get the belt.
Wouldn't it be a nostalgia jolt?
Maybe in like a year, but like
just seeing him on the top turnbuckle holding that pose he does with the belt.
We got to see that in 2013, and that was the nostalgic WWE title run.
Yeah. Great Rock promo. The only thing I came across lately is poor Darby Allin won't be able to climb the old Mount Everest. Broke his damn foot.
Broke his foot.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's X-rays.
Pretty convincing.
Wow, I thought they were just like writing him off for some dumb reason, but I didn't know. Like, how did he break his foot? Was it in the spot?
Yeah.
Real.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Nah, I think you're being worked. That's a work. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think they're like overcooking this, where they're like, we really need to sell that Darby Allin's gone. We'll really need to sell that he broke his foot. When they really can't just say, oh, he's climbing Mount Everest. It takes a while.
Yeah. Well, he announced he isn't. He's got to wait till next year now because there's a short window that you can do it, and he won't be available.
Oh, weird. I wonder if he's like really pissed about that. If it, I kind of maybe like something else has happened for him not to be able to climb Mount Everest, and so they're like, well, at least we'll use it for heat, right? Like maybe something unfortunate's going on with his family, so they're like, well, you got this time off, you're gonna use it. We'll just have Jay White break your foot and break up the Bang Bang Scissor Gang and use it as an angle. So that's interesting, because it would be really weird if they did the angle. The angle got him to break his foot, and because of that, he can't now.
Yeah.
Like, that would be kind of messed up, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know.
I think it was just bad luck. He was totally gonna climb that puppy, got a break,
Yeah.
and boom.
Sometimes just shit happens.
I
Stuff.
guess we have other news. Shibata returned. Was it
Ooh.
are the visa issues over? Because I thought that's why he went back to Japan, was because of visa issues.
It appears so.
Presumably, yeah, yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah, let's get into this collision here. Uh, yeah, they started off with Bryan Danielson versus Shibata. I will say real quick too, the new logo looks cooler and cooler every time I see it. It like just fits and it looks natural. uh, yeah, looks good. Um, yeah, basically the match shouldn't be because both men had to retire at one point, thought they'd never wrestle again. So the fact that we got to see it was, cool in and of its own. So, uh, yeah, we got a little backstory, a little bit about Shibata's brain injury from Okada. Yeah, quite the trials and tribulations for the guy. But yeah, we get really nice mat wrestling from the beginning. A lot of counters, very evenly matched. We get a kick exchange into a Romero special, almost. But Danielson slams Shibata's knees into the mat. We get a Fujinara armbar to Shibata, and then a bow and arrow. We get a lot of countering of moves. Shibata uh, and Danielson shoving, chopping each other. We got uh, Danielson getting suplexed out of the ring from Shibata. Then Shibata gave him a PK kick on the floor. We get a back and forth in the corner, running kicks into yes kicks from Danielson to Shibata, and a forearm, multiple forearm strikes to Danielson. A lot of chops. We get Nigel asking if Danielson's missing chromosomes.
I just like how Tony Schiavone just leaves that hanging for like 5 seconds. He's like,
Why would you ask that?
"Why?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm being serious. I'm concerned. Look at him."
Good stuff. They reverse multiple ankle locks over and over. That was super cool. Shibata hits a Death Valley driver on Danielson, covers for two. We get hammer and anvil blows to Danielson, which is his move. Danielson reverses a Rainmaker into a Bazaiku knee and covers for two. Danielson then gets the label lock on Shibata, but Shibata gets to the ropes. Shibata begs for more. Yes kicks from Danielson. He no sells them, and then they exchange pump kicks. Shibata gives Danielson uh, some more kicks. They chop each other on their necks. Holy
Oof.
shit.
That
Shibata,
bruise by the end was awful.
yep. Shibata counters a Psycho knee with a not sure. Shibata gets the iron octopus on Danielson and he gets to the ropes. We get rolling covers into a label lock. Then they're rolling around, cover. Danielson finally gets it just on a random rolling cover. Great match. Wow, loved it. Uh, yeah, what a treat. What do you think about it, gentlemen?
Yeah, man, to earlier in the week to get the announcement of like yet another about Danielson Tree match, like get hyped for it all week and then get it as the kickoff match. Wow, it was great. Shibata hit a drop kick to the in the corner when Brian was all hooked up on the turnbuckle, and I thought that was almost as nice looking as one of Okada's drop kicks. It was beautiful. That and I love, and I'm always a sucker for the spot, but a little bit of sportsmanship at the end with the handshake and the hug. So I thought that was all in all a great way to start the show. What do you think, Chandler?
Yeah, I thought this was a fantastic match, a great way to start. Most of my notes were Nigel McGuinness clips because I thought he was on fire. Because guess what? It was a Bryan Danielson match. I loved it when they were doing the Romero specials, and he immediately just went, "Anything you can do, all I can do, just not quite as well." For like Danielson to Shibata, and then when they had their both exchange where Danielson was kicking Shibata, and then he like sat cross-legged and was like, "Come on." And then Danielson did the same thing where he sat cross-legged. Nigel, without missing a beat, went sitting down on the jaw ball way. So he was so funny. And then I think my favorite one was like Shibata suplex Danielson to the outside. And Nigel just like leans up from the desk going, "Does it hurt? Does it hurt?" So he was just on form. But at least for the match, I love the little bit where Danielson was in the corner, and then Shibata ran to the other one, and Danielson followed him and kicked him, and then Danielson ran over to the other one, and Shibata kicked him in his own corner. Like, I thought it was a really fun match and really well done. I never knew Shibata was this good, but holy crap, like, he's good.
Yeah, I agree fully. We got a little taste of it. I mean, he had a really great match against Orange Cassidy, but nothing like this. Like he was elevated for sure. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I was super hyped and pumped and uh, engaged in the match. Didn't want to look away. So yeah. Good stuff. Moving along here, we got a TBS championship title match. Julia Hart versus Trish Adora. It was a house rules match, and the loser couldn't be ringside for the main event, House of Black versus the Infantry. Um, I really like Julia Hart's jacket. It was pretty badass.
Yeah.
The whole presentation, really great. But we've talked about that. Uh, we got Trish Adora uh, doing the splits while doing an arm lock, and then she popped and locked it right there on uh, Julia Hart. Julia Hart got a um, put in a really cool submission from Trish Adora. Trish Adora, where she wasn't even on the mat, all tangled up in the air. Yeah, Trish is really strong. I'm starting to really enjoy watching her matches. Julia Hart slams Trish in the steel steps over and over. We get a shoulder breaker to Julia Hart with a 2 count. Uh, kind of made Julia look bad a little bit. Like it was really competitive. uh, Trish counters the Heartless Lock into a pin. Trish Adora gives Julia Hart a kneeling German suplex. I'm starting to catch on to her doing that. Like she'll be on her knees and hit that thing, and whoo,
Pretty
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah. Julia Hart nails her moonsault, which looked really great, and she won. Uh, let's see, we got no Trish for the House of Black Infantry match, and we learned that we're gonna get a uh, Chris Statlander and Willow versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart match for the extended Dynamite, 3 hour long. Well, it's a Dynamite and then a Rampage on Wednesday. So yeah, that'll be interesting. When they've done this before, I never felt like the pacing was too slow or it dragged on. They don't give us a bunch of slow things. They just keep it going. So I'm pretty sure that's how they'll roll here too. And I think there's a stipulation for that match. I just can't remember, like a street fight, something like that. But yeah, after that, well, oh yeah, do you want to talk about the match? The Julia Trish.
Yeah, it was good. Dog sitting on headphones. Uh, I enjoyed it. It's good. Julia's back off injury, back to defending that belt. She looked good for. I was kind of, especially when she went up for that moonsault. Is like, oh, is this going to be one of the ones she might be a little rusty? But everything looked good. It was a good match. Nothing crazy, but I enjoyed it. How about you, Chandler?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I think the stipulation where it was both for the TBS title and loser couldn't be at the main event, I felt like it was pretty foregone or a bygone conclusion, but it was still a fun match. And then, of course, that moonsault was really good at the end. I didn't really have any notes for this match. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Julia's kind of cooled off pretty much, and time to
Yeah.
get that belt off her.
Well, there have been a lot of more, like, I hate saying this, but like a lot bigger names coming into AEW for the women's division. Like we had Deonna Purrazzo, Mariah May, and Mercedes Monet. Like all of those names have been coming in, and they need to win either title. You can't have all those people hold the same titles. So I think you let Julia Hart lose it. She's already got one reign. She can come back later, and she's a little bit hotter, and it'll be good again. Like,
I am patiently waiting for Camille to show up.
isn't that she's from the NWA, right?
Yeah, apparently WWE talks have kind of stalled, and she started talking to AEW.
Oh,
So
cool.
she is something special too. Like, are either of you familiar with like her, like what she looks like her physique,
No.
and like, dude, she's like taller than Jade Cargill, like
Oh, damn.
stacked and muscle, like she's China-esque, let me just say. Uh, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think they can get her, hopefully.
Cool.
Give her a belt. But yeah, let's see. After that, we get a Zach Knight promo. You know all about Zach Knight, right, Chandler?
No, who is this clown? Why are they like, oh, it's Zach Knight? It's this
Zach
guy.
Knight.
Well, I'll break kayfabe here and say that they told me off camera it's Soraya's brother, but I didn't know. So they cut like 2 promos about him, like, oh, this Zach Knight, he's so scary, and I'm like, who is it? Ooh,
He's back.
No, that's
did
Dante
he?
Martin.
Yeah, Dante Martin is back.
uh yeah, basically they don't want to, or he doesn't want to wrestle Cool Hand Ange in Canada. They've got the whole love triangle thingy going on Rampage, which I hear is really good. But it's not enough to really make me start watching. uh yeah, we got Harley Cameron there being weird, making fun of poutine and moose and gravy and whatever, and yeah.
Boo.
Biggest heel in the biz.
Cool, yeah. That happened. Um, after that, we get Daniel Garcia versus Lee Moriarty, the future of wrestling, right here. Yeah, really loved it. We got Daddy Magic on commentary. I didn't realize the match was gonna happen, so I got kind of hyped when I realized who the two competitors were. We get great chain wrestling from the get go. Garcia dances in Moriarty's face. Shane Taylor distracts Garcia at one point, and Lee Moriarty gives him a tope suicida. Taylor takes a cheap shot on Garcia while the ref isn't looking, and Moriarty dances. Garcia uh, fires back after a wrist lock. Garcia wins with a ankle submission. Yeah, should have won the match. I like that. I like Shane Taylor getting all interfery. I like Moriarty working that heel character. Yeah, good stuff. Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty. I like seeing them because they're willing to do the job, brother. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna pay off. I love it. Like Miro, I'm kind of over him. He's great to watch, but if he's gonna be, from what's reported, little baby about losing stuff, like granted, he's a big monster, Miro, that maybe shouldn't lose a lot, but maybe you gotta
This
lose a
might be
few for you.
this might be controversial. I've never felt like Rusev deserved. I'm saying Rusev because that's in WWE. I've never felt like Rusev deserved that kind of like protection. And I don't. Miro's a whole different beast. I get that, but he still to me feels very Rusev esque. So I'm like, like I've never been too big on him, and like I've seen a few of his matches in AEW. They're fine. They're not fantastic. He's definitely not one of my favorite people, but not onto that, onto Garcia. I mean, I was pretty glad that he's still wrestling on TV. I'm still glad that he's winning. I hope he's just taking a silent road back and he's building up his rankings to get back into a title scene because I still think Garcia is the one to take it off of Christian. I think the story was really good there,
Yeah.
um, especially because I think Copeland's going to lose on Dynamite. So we'll see. But the match was fine. How'd you feel, Chad?
Same. They had a match and it was good. Like I said, I'm happy they're at least keeping Garcia on TV. It's good for Lee Moriarty. I think he's really developing quite nicely. But like you said, I'd rather see Garcia kind of hitting that higher tier of people now and getting into that title picture. So hopefully, like you said, they're just kind of keeping him relevant until it's time to push him again.
Yeah, good call. Great. After that, we get a little recap of the Darby Allen injury. They actually show the X-ray. Yeah, so he will not be climbing Mount Everest. Poor guy. Um, yeah, we're kind of like talking off camera. We're kind of debating: is it a work shoot, a shoot, a work? Like
Yeah,
he he had been training for it for months and months. So like I'm pretty sure it's just a freak accident that uh happened.
that's incredibly unfortunate, and it'll make for a good feud when Darby gets back. So, because they'll have real life heat.
The way I look at it too, Darby can train more and I won't feel so scared, maybe.
Yeah.
He gets another year to prepare.
Yeah, dude, I was sweating it a little, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
not a
What if he
little
doesn't
thing.
come back?
This
He's
fucking
gonna get up
Darby
top and
Allen.
be. He's gonna get up top and see someone that kind of looks like a buck, and he's like, I could hit a coffin drop right here, and it'd be the best thing I've ever done. So don't think that. I know you watch this, Darby Allen. Don't think that. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay safe, brother.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. After that, we get a pack match. The Bastard Pack versus Aaron Solo, who's probably really happy his homeboy QT Marshall came back. They were like always in a faction together since day one. Um, Aaron Solo gets some offense in with a dive. He only gets one count. Pack was having none of it and kicks him in the corner. Man, Pack is vicious. We get a nice welcome back chant from the crowd. We get a he's a bastard chant from the crowd. This is like the most fans have ever been into Pack, I feel like this return. Uh, Shotgun drop kick to Aaron Solo from Pack. Pack hits the Black Arrow into the Brutalizer for the win. He gets on the mic. Uh, Tony, 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 the bastard's back, and I'm looking for trouble. This isn't what I had in mind. Tony Khan, find me some trouble, or I'll find it myself. Oh, yep. Short and sweet. That's all we need. Um, cool. Yeah. Great match. Love seeing Pack. Even though it was a quick squash, we got to see what he's all about. And yeah, loving it. Hopefully he can stay healthy and able to travel.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's it seems like every time we're about to get a really good, like, steady run with him, it's something happens and he disappears for a hot minute. So hoping we get a good program, like maybe something singles. No more death triangle weirdness, please.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I kind of miss them.
that was his tag team with the Lucha Bros, right? Or his
Yeah.
triples.
Yeah,
Okay.
triples, yeah.
So I guess you could say he's Pac. But I thought
Oh,
this was a fine match to show how he was and a fine promo. Who do we think Trouble is? I wrote down Moxley, but I honestly thought Moxley would
Okada.
come out on the show.
So,
Okada.
yeah.
Oh yeah. They're kind of setting that up. So then Okada will be the first challenger, or Pac will be the first challenger for Okada's championship when he beats Eddie, because there's no way he's not.
right?
What's happening on Dynamite?
That's
The
on
Continental.
Dynamite.
Wow. In Toronto. Okay. Yep, that's happening.
Oh, oh, man, it's gonna be awesome to see Eddie sell for Okada.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna witness the
Yeah.
murder of another human on TV.
Yeah.
Shit, I am really excited for Dynamite. Damn. Okay. Um, cool. Yeah. Good to see Pac. Love him in AEW. Yeah, good stuff. After that, we get a Bryan Danielson promo. He's got gratitude. He is so thankful that he was able to wrestle Shibata. Both men were told they'd never wrestle again, but they fought like hell. He's grateful for his match with Will Ospreay, but he says Ospreay said when he gets in the ring, it's live or die, and he doesn't plan on dying. Uh, Danielson says he says or what he wants. Uh, say what you want about what you're willing to do because I know what I'm willing to do, and I don't think you're ready for that. Cool. What are we gonna have Danielson giving Osprey a Tiger Driver 91?
Maybe. I don't like that this feud's set up around that move, because
Right?
it's such a nasty move, but I'm sure they're both okay with it, so I gotta be fine. But the only thing I had written was, oh, he's so taking a Tiger Driver 91, isn't he?
I want him to give
Just
one.
That'd be interesting,
that'd be a
but
good twist. That's a good twist.
in my humble opinion, when you drop a guy on his neck, that should be the end of the match. And I think if Danielson hits it on Osprey, it won't be the end of the
Oh,
match.
no.
So,
Yeah.
but we'll
Man,
see. We'll see.
that Kenny Omega Tiger Driver 91.
Yeah. Yeah,
Forbidden Door? Was it
that
or
stirred
was
up a
That
that?
was
little
Forbidden
heat.
Door.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
That was
Yeah.
that was my first AEW show. And so here I am, like, oh, tee time to watch this. Oh, I've heard about Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. Sure, I'll watch him
Oh, dear
wrestle.
God.
He dropped him on his neck.
Yep. And you've seen far worse since then.
Uh yeah. I still think
Darby stuff.
I still think the Tiger Driver was real bad, but like, yeah, the Darby Allin glass spot at Revolution. I'd say the Hangman Swerve death match. That was
Yeah.
pretty rough. Pretty great. Still love that match, but pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Great promo from Danielson. Looking forward to what are they calling it? Dynasty? Yeah, I'm
Dynasty.
Dynasty. Yeah. Cool. After that, we get Claudio Castagnoli versus Lance Archer in a meat match. Uh, they shove each other over and over, and then they lock up. Pretty even match from the beginning. We get dueling scoop slams and no cells, meat chants. Claudio clotheslines Archer over the top rope. Archer cannonball sentons on Claudio on the floor from the apron. Archer trash talks and goes for a DDT, but Claudio vertical suplexes him. Archer does his rope walk, but Claudio knocks him off the ropes. He wasn't able to do it. Claudio teases a giant swing, but can't get it. Archer choke slams Claudio for a 2 count. Then Archer goes for blackout, but Claudio counters into a Death Valley driver. Claudio uppercuts Archer over and over and over, then does a top rope cutter and covers for 2. Claudio hits a spinning European uppercut and covers for 2. We got the fans clamoring for a giant swing. He finally gets it in, but the Righteous come out and attack Claudio. We get a DQ, like one of a handful ever in AEW. I bet we're on like 6 or 7 maybe at this point total.
Yeah, not a
Uh,
lot.
no. But yeah, man, got some heat on them. I'm glad that they're kind of getting back in the picture. They cooled off a little bit. I thought that was cool to get some exposure around Wrestle Dream time back in October. But yeah, they're back. Screwy finish, but now we're gonna get Blackpool Combat Club versus the Snake Pit.
That's a great name.
Mm-hmm. When I first saw, I think it was Dutch running down, I thought that was Jake. So I was like, Jake the Snake Roberts can still move that fast? Wow, good for him. But then I was like, oh no, it's just the Righteous. But is this setting up to the BCC versus the Snake Pit? Or is it Danielson, Claudio, and Shibata versus the Snake
Yeah,
Pit?
you know
Because I
what?
think Moxley's like on vacation or on like he's nursing an injury or whatever because they were like, oh, he's not in the building tonight, which it's never happened. Like unless it's Danielson, they never just have the BCC in without one of the members.
Yeah.
So
And
I
we had no
think
Renee, right? No Renee for the episode?
she's not
Or
typically on Collision. She's more
sh
Dynamite.
she usually does, like, 1, maybe 2 backstage interviews on Collision, but
I,
Lexi does most of them.
I feel like after this recent like split or whatever, or not split, but like rebranding they've had, I think Renee's the Dynamite and Lexi Nair's the Collision. I think that's what they're trying to do.
They did hire a 3rd girl, to help with that role too. I can't remember her name or what she was from, but yeah, that was kind of a news story maybe a week or 2 ago. But yeah, hopefully we'll see here coming up here soon. Um, but yeah, so the Righteous attack or attack Claudio. Danielson runs out to help, but gets beat down. And then Shibata runs out with a chair and they all scatter. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, like you said, Chandler, we're probably gonna get Shibata, Claudio, and Danielson versus Snake Pit. Uh yeah, man, no Yuta there. I guess he's still hurt, and no Jake the Snake there either, which I thought was kind of weird. Maybe they're like, you stay back
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
don't get burned by the pyro. You guys know about that?
Oh, didn't he almost get burned?
Yeah, he almost walked right into as it was like, yeah. So that happened a little while back. Yeah, yeah. I, man, I didn't know anything about Claudio or Cesaro before he came to AEW, had never seen a single match he had been in over this past maybe 2 years now, Chad,
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He has really, really impressed me. I am a super fan. Claudio's great. Like, I like him better as a face. Um, but he's a pretty damn badass heel too.
Yeah. No, it's insane how that guy just showcases his strength all the time, and it always just looks incredible. Like that dude could do anything, and yet he's like light on his feet, and he can move, and he's sort of the total package. My favorite iteration is still the Bar, though. That weird
Yeah.
thrown together tag team that
I
Mrs. Foley's baby boy put together.
I loved the Bar. Back it was Sheamus and Cesaro. They teamed up because they had a best of 7 series, and whoever won the best of 7 got a title shot. And they were both 3-3, and they got to the last one, and they like double count out it or something like that. And so Mick Foley was like, "Fine, you'll get a title shot, but it's a tag team title shot. And then they
Oh,
were tag team for like 3 or 4 years. So they were pretty dang good together.
hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I like
remember one
that.
of the favorite bits when they were doing all the can they coexist stuff, and they were like getting into an argument at the bar. Then they ended up just having this huge bar brawl. It was a fun bit. They
Mhm.
did some good stuff back then.
Yeah, yeah, I like that a lot. But yeah, I'm a super big fan of Claudio. I think he's great. He's a great talent, and I really like watching him wrestle, to be honest. Um, cool, cool, cool. Moving along here, we got Lexi Nair backstage with Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Ange. Uh, Cool Hand Ange was ready for a fight, and he's mad. Ruby warns him that they are baiting him in, and if he uh, does anything without her, uh, she won't be by his side. He agrees. Cooler heads prevail. He's whipped.
Well, you got Daddy Magic as the uncle mentor to Daniel Garcia. You can't have Cool Hand Ange do that as well. He's not as charismatic as Daddy Magic, so you need him to do something, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, maybe there's some like clips put together of some of the stuff they're doing on Rampage. I don't want to turn
Yeah.
on a Rampage and fast forward through it to try to watch it, but yeah, I'm
yeah.
intrigued. Let me just say I'm intrigued. It might be some good stuff.
It's weird that
So,
they're like entirely building this on Rampage, except for a few like minute long segments on Dynamite or Collision. Like this is 100% Rampage, and then they're like, "Wow, are we going to talk about what happened on Rampage, Mister Zack Knight?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, bro." So I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just trying to get us to go watch it. Not gonna
I mean,
fall for
I'm
that, Tony. I don't got enough time.
Yeah, put like Okada on Rampage, then we'll see.
yeah, for real. Like, yeah, they got to start putting bigger talent on Collision. Like, I mean, shit, they are. Yeah, Okada would have been a nice Young Bucks tonight would have been a cool addition. Um, but yeah, dude, this next match, whoo, Kyle O'Reilly back, baby.
Yeah,
Uh,
cool Kyle O'Reilly.
dude, looked like a freaking beast. Uh, Cobwebs were officially knocked loose. We get Brian Keith having a match here. I think he needs a new theme song. It's super boring. So
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Hangman Adam Page's, but worse. So
yeah, yep.
probably
Uh,
should.
they need they need to figure out how to legally copy the like Clint Eastwood like whistle thing and like
Doodle-doo-doo. Wah,
yep,
wah, wah.
yeah, something like that kind of. And he should also join the Bullet Club Gold.
Oh.
I like that idea. It's not bad. That's not bad. But then he'd be heel.
I'm okay with it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a nice guy now. Like
Yeah.
he's a ruthless bounty hunter from Texas. Cool. Yeah, we get a welcome back chance for Kyle O'Reilly, like we did with Pac. O'Reilly rolls out of the ring. He looks hurt. I'm kind of unsure. They exchange forearm shots and chops. O'Reilly slaps Keith when he fakes a knee. I really like that spot. We get a reverse kick to O'Reilly from Keith, and then a DDT, and he covers for two. O'Reilly hits Brian Keith with a hard kitchen sink. Keith is definitely stunned. The ref had to check on him. O'Reilly starts kicking Brian Keith over and over and over. Kyle O'Reilly gets a triangle lock on Brian Keith, and he breaks the hold to climb to the top turnbuckle, but Brian Keith knocks him off the top. Keith hits a nasty knee on O'Reilly. Uh, covers for
Right.
a near count. Then a sit down power bomb from Brian Keith to O'Reilly, covers for 2 again. O'Reilly wins with a armbar, a really brutal looking armbar. Yeah, great stuff. Great match. Very entertaining. Crowd was hot. Crowd was into it. Then we get Roddy, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven coming out to the ring to celebrate. Um, yeah, well, let's talk about the match first. I loved it. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought.
oh,
Oh, sorry.
nope.
I thought it was excellent. This is my first Kyle O'Reilly match. He did not disappoint. I really like him, and I want to see more of him. And I thought this was Brian Keith's best match. I thought he looked really good, and it was really competitive. Like some of my favorite bits where he did a nice fake out kick where he was going to run up and hit him real hard, and then he smacked him. That was Kyle O'Reilly to Keith. And then Kyle O'Reilly hit a spinning leg sweep, which I've never seen before. That was really awesome. And then Keith Lee had a fantastic rise up, like he was down and he rose up and he headbutt Kyle O'Reilly, who was on the top rope. And then I loved that knee you were talking about, where like Keith hit him once and it was like, oh, whatever, that's a fine knee. And he hit him again. I'm like, you're gonna injure this guy again. Stop it.
As he falls, dude,
Yeah,
just
he
dead
fell on
weight.
it.
Boom. God, dude. That
Like
looked
made them
good.
both look so good. Kyle O'Reilly hit a stupid wacky line. Are you kidding me? Do you know what that is, Dave?
No.
So, do you remember when Kyle O'Reilly like fell out the ring and like went out and went back in and hit a
Yeah, yeah.
clothesline? Dean Ambrose used to hit that a lot, and they called it the wacky line, and it was awful. So I
Yeah.
see that, and I'm like, he hit the wacky line. But yeah, the match, it was excellent, and I loved the finish where he does the same kind of like Moxley thing where he'll go for what he thinks will be the last pin. It's not all right. Fine, immediate submission. You're gonna be done after this. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that he comes off as like a legit threat. Like his style's always been so good. It's like just a great combination of like MMA and wrestling, and he always comes off as super believable. But at the same time, like he's almost like a cartoonish seller. Like he's like I feel like he just straddles that line of like legit scary and comedic. Like it shouldn't work, but it does.
yeah, kind of like Okada when he was on Dynamite, and he's like, "No, sing it!" Like just
Yeah.
that little line that he's able to tread.
Yeah, I missed him. He was like when I watched was big on NXT, the Undisputed Era was kind of a big thing at the time. And yeah, every time he was involved in a match, I was like, holy crap, this guy is so good. So I hope he gets a big push too. I hope they all get big pushes. Could they all be top of the card?
Yeah, everyone except for the Kingdom, but everyone else, can they be pushed?
Um, yeah, really great match. Great to see O'Reilly back in the ring. Uh, yeah, I kind of want Bobby Fish back now.
Where's the lie? Can I be mad about something? The Kingdom didn't even have the Ring of Honor tag titles with them. What's the
No,
point?
I
What's
know.
the point? Get them off them.
Like, what are we doing with that too? Are they just really just happy for O'Reilly? Like,
I think
it can't just be that.
I really thought they were going to turn on him this episode because they had him up on their shoulders, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you drop him, you beat him up, right? But not yet. Maybe it's a slow burn.
Kyle O'Reilly's gonna single-handedly take on the whole faction.
I like that. Kind of like what I was pitching for Mark Briscoe in the House of Black, where he beats them all 1-on-1 and then beats them in a 1-on-3. That's what Kyle O'Reilly should do. He should beat them all 1-on-1 and then beat them all in a 1-on-3. And then they're like, well, I guess we're done.
So what you're saying is we need a dumpling hunter gimmick.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay, I think Kyle O'Reilly would be really good in that role. And then he just like sits outside of Adam Cole's house, like, I'm ready for you to be healed, and then it's on. It is on.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Um, After that, we get Lexi Nair backstage with Deanna Parazzo and Thunder Rosa. Um, Gianna says the whole the enemy of my enemy is my friend. She trusts Thunder Rosa because they have fought before. She says Tony tapped out, but Luther saved her. Thunder Rosa says, "You want drama, you'll get drama." And they have a mission. Uh, she says, "It's TV time." What does that mean?
QTV time.
Ooh.
Oh, QTV and Thunder Rosa in a tag team?
Oh, they're telling that Real World's Women's Championship story that I've been pitching for like years. Where she's gonna be like,
Ooh.
she said she never lost it, so she's gonna be like, I'm the real women's champion. It's gonna have the X over it.
Yeah.
And then Tony Storm still beats her.
What I got out of this, we're gonna get women's TV tag titles that only are defended on television, which I'm okay with.
I mean, there are a lot of women's tag teams going on right now, but I don't see them adding any more belts. I hope not, at least. I know it kind of helped the women's division, but I think they need to focus it more and like give it more than just more belts, and let's see if that works, and then you start introducing more belts.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I don't know if it'd be the right call, but yeah, they need to just let it brew.
Do
I
do like 3 feuds that aren't for a title that have payoffs at a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I know that's shocking, but maybe.
I also felt the lack of Mercedes Monet on this collision kind of hindered a little of the momentum of that debut. I think she should have done something here too on
Yeah,
the episode.
because Okada was on the collision right after, and Osprey was on the collision right after. Yeah, I think the only reason we got Osprey and Okada was because they filmed them back to back, right?
Yeah, true.
So they were pretty crafty with that. But yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if even just did like a quick pre-tape, like, so why are you here? And like tease her first
Yeah,
feud or something.
Mhm.
Would have
a
been
sit
cool.
down with Renee,
Yeah.
pre-recorded something, anything.
That's going to be on Dynamite.
Yeah. No, really sit down with a very old and confused JR who thinks she's still in the WW. So Sasha, not fucking Sasha.
Sasha, are you going for the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship? They're not even called that anymore. Oh, but you want to go for them Women's Championships, right? You never lost them. I don't. That's why I left.
You think you'll take the belt from Trish Stratus?
What year is it? JR, what year is it?
Oh, poor guy. Love JR. It's fun to poke fun at him, but I love him. Cool. So we get our main event here. Wild card match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament. The winner of this gets to advance to the quarterfinals. We got not Kings of the Black Throne, which I wrote initially. It was just Buddy Matthews and Brody King, not called Kings of the Black Throne, versus the Infantry. Some couple guys we don't know much about. Sean Dean I've seen before. I've heard him called Charlie and Carly Bravo. Which one is it?
I like
Charlie
Charlie Bravo.
Bravo's. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone called him Carly Bravo for the whole match. So
Maybe it is Carly Bravo because Charlie Bravo's too like
Too on the
Carly
nose.
Bravo's a little bit more clever, I guess. It's thinking outside the box.
cool. So no Malachi. The House of Black destroy the infantry before the bell. Brody and Buddy stand in the ring and wait for the infantry for the match to start. It finally starts. We get a Cannonball Senton to Charlie Bravo by Brody King. He covers, but Sean Dean breaks the pin. We got Sean Dean wiping out and falling on his face, trying to do something. Looked real bad, but he recovered. Like he didn't, it looked bad, but he just got right back up, and
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I admire that.
he's a professional.
Yep.
he didn't get mad. He didn't beat himself up. He just immediately went to another move. So I thought it was fine.
Sean Dean splashes Brody and Buddy, but Brody lariats him. Charlie Bravo gets a knee to the face. We get a Dante's Inferno to Sean Dean. Uh, Charlie Bravo breaks the pin. We got, I wrote down here just so I could say I wrote it. Briscoe is going to interfere and cost them the match.
Well, I wonder if that happens.
Spoilers.
Brody King throws Bravo on the announce desk and then gives him the Dante's Inferno on the desk, but it doesn't break. Did you catch Brody King grabbing his tailbone
No.
right after he hit that? Dude, a couple other wrestling podcasts I listened to brought that up too. Like, I hope he's okay. 6
No,
months.
I was laughing because he like the first move he threw him into the table and he landed on the chair and Nigel just went, "Well, why don't you have a seat?" So I was laughing. I wasn't paying attention to anything else.
Let's see. Buddy gets on the top rope, but oh yeah, Buddy goes for the pin, but pulls up Sean Dean, or no, Charlie Bravo. He gets on the top rope. He should have ended that match, but Mark Briscoe runs in and hits him in the head with a chair. Brody King chases Briscoe into the crowd, and Charlie Bravo rolls over, covers Buddy, and wins. Malachi Black runs out and stares down Briscoe. They are mad. Um, yeah, I knew that was kind of what was going to happen. I mean, a lot of people think that the infantry should have put up a little more threat, looked a little better um, than they did, but I mean, it makes sense. They're not that good. So, uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I would have had him get a little bit more heat in because now they're gonna fight FTR, who FTR just beat House of Black.
Yeah.
So they couldn't
yeah,
beat House of Black. How are they gonna beat FTR? But we'll see. I hope they pull out a good match with them. But this match was it was an angle. It was fine. I wasn't a huge fan of it. My favorite part was probably Mark Briscoe of all things, because of course he's great and I liked him sneaking in. So he was on the top of the like ramp, like watching the people, and there was a fan standing right next to him, and he's looking at the house of he's like, "Come on!" So Mark Briscoe's got some support when
Yeah.
they do the next 3-man.
yeah, it'll be Infantry Briscoe versus House of Black.
Maybe that kind of makes sense, but I don't know how you go from Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and then you're like, okay, they can't do it. How about the infantry?
Well, they they beat him already.
That doesn't count.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. It was a fun match. What do you think of it, Chad?
Yeah, it was fun. Kind of interesting to have a different kind of finish. Like I don't even think we're in the double digits of DQ finishes yet in the history of the company, huh? We were trying to count earlier. It was like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I would have liked the infantry to come off as a little more of a threat as well, though. It was kind of like, oh, FTR is just gonna destroy him next round, and then they'll be gone again.
Yeah.
Here's a theory. If Dean would have connected with whatever cool big move that was, that could have like maybe made them just look good enough for all of
Yeah.
us be like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
just one move.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you want me to talk about the tag team bracket now before we go on to the
Yeah, they
main
did
event?
throw up the graphic. I didn't get to follow it so well.
I paused mine because I wanted to write it all down. So I don't know when these matches are happening, but we're gonna get the Bucks versus Private Party. So they're running that back.
Hell yeah.
Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Ricky Starks still works for the company. They're fighting Top Flight. And then you got FTR versus Infantry, which was decided on this show. And then it'll be Undisputed Kingdom of all teams to get a bye. Why them? But
Right?
Undisputed Kingdom versus either Best Friends or the Don Callis family of Hobbs and Fletcher. And I was, of course, pissy because I was like, well, where's Takeshita? They're probably going to lose. So you don't
Fletcher's
want
there to eat the pin.
you don't want to pin
It's
Hobbs.
okay.
You don't want to pin Takeshita. Well, how about the guy with the title? But
That makes
yeah,
sense.
so I think it's about what we all expected. I think I just forgot about the United Kingdom. So I wasn't thinking about them being in this tournament. And so I was like, oh, I guess. I would have rather had like a Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty.
Oh, that'd been slick.
My takeaway from the whole bracket was no Claudio Moxley.
Moxley's a guy to be on like vacation or
Yeah.
something. Like
Dude,
He
how
deserves
long
it.
ago, Chad? Like 2 years ago?
it
Yeah,
was all out,
Punk
right?
ruined it.
he was like literally slated to go on a 6-week vacation, and then CM Punk did CM Punk things, and then there's that meme of like Ben Affleck with the cigarette. Like I've seen that one in reference. Like, all right, here we go.
So if Moxley's finally getting that vacation, good for him. You've earned it, bud.
I want him and Renee gone. That's why they hired that new girl.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Maybe she'll be on Dynamite.
Do you think
Anyway,
they're like, okay, we have Osprey, Okada, Monet. You can go.
Yeah.
yeah,
Go to
yeah.
Cabo. Go play with some sandcastles. I don't want to see you for a bit.
With your daughter and have fun
Yeah.
as a family.
Go
Yeah.
spend time with your
God,
family. Heal your
dude.
wounds.
Oh, I hope that's the case. Please let Moxley be
Yeah.
on vacation right now.
Yeah, that and like, hopefully he's gone for a hot minute because I feel like he was starting to get a little overexposed and people will be excited when he comes back.
Well, he was it was just I know with the rankings, they're already kind of dead already, but he was like fourth in the rankings, and they're like, oh, he just doesn't care about titles, which is like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have your top guy be at the top of the rankings, and you're just gonna like have him fudge the rankings in a way, like that kind of sucks. So I think him taking a little break and him coming back, maybe Shibata doesn't join the BCC, but he's like an honorary member for a bit and fills in for Moxley. I think that'd
Yeah.
be a nice role for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Um, cool. Yeah. Sounds like a fun tag team tournament. Looking forward to it. Who do we think's gonna take it?
Oof.
Is it gonna be a weird wild card? Who we don't think it is?
No, I think it's gonna be the Bucks.
I want
Okada's gonna
Private Party with it.
Okada's gonna get his Continental Championship, and the Bucks are gonna get the tag titles. So I think that's
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think we're eventually going to circle around to EVPs versus FTR.
I think that'll be the end. That'll be
Yeah.
because let's see. So I bet you Ricky Starks and Big Bill are going to be Top Flight. FTR are going to be Infantry. So that'll be Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus FTR again. But this time
Yeah.
FTR will beat them. It won't be a squash. And then Bucks will go against. I don't know. I don't
Private
care about this.
Party. Which,
Yeah, I think Bucks will beat Private Party because they'll run that back and because didn't Private Party beat them a long time ago?
yeah. First tag team tournament they had.
So I bet Bucks get their win back, brother. And then like I don't care about the UK. I don't care about the best friends, and I don't have faith in the Don Callis family when it's not Takeshita or Osprey. So as much as I like Hobbs and Fletcher, they just don't win.
Yeah, Bucks need it. We need all the gold in the elite.
Or if they got a good swerve coming, like Kenny Omega comes back and costs them the match, hell yeah, that's fun. Like
Yeah.
if they swerve us, hell yeah. But I think that's just what I would book.
Yeah. Real quick side note, did either of you hear that Kenny Omega is contemplating uh ranking matches like Dave
Ah,
Meltzer does in his
Yeah.
downtime?
I know.
There's been some mixed reactions about that.
We'll see how it goes. I hope he's just like talking about like what he thinks is a good thing in the match and what like basically from a veteran like Kenny Omega, what works, what doesn't. I think that's a
yeah.
pretty good insight to the wrestling industry. I just think if he does like stars or numbers or anything, it's gonna fall apart
Yeah.
because people are gonna bitch about it so much. And I'm not even saying that Kenny will have a bad opinion. I think well, no matter what his opinion, people will bitch about it. So
Yeah. 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 The wrestling community is not toxic.
unless unless it's a bait and he just gives every match 5 stars, I think that would be pretty
That would
good.
be funny.
Yeah. Man, I was watching a video yesterday, wrestling related, and like I started going through the comments and
Bad mistake.
Yeah.
bad
Bad
idea.
mistake.
Like I will say, in my view, in my experience, I don't know, I might be biased, but I feel the WWE fans that talk shit on AEW are way more than AEW talking shit on WWE at that toxic. Dude, these diehard WWE fans that will not accept that AEW has anything to offer, period. You just like they're just always gonna, anything that comes up, like, oh, Monet's here, okay, like, oh, they're not gonna draw, they're terrible, AEW sucks, they're gonna go out of business. Like, yeah, the
They're
comments
just
are
mad. They're just mad that all these people chose AEW over WWE,
yes,
which
yes,
if you get into the boring contract talk, it's because WWE didn't know what they at least for Okada Osprey, they didn't know how good they were. So they're like, yeah, here's like $2 million a year. You want it? You want it? And Tony Khan's like, nah, you get like $15 million. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm buying you boys.
Yeah.
So
And you only got to work once a week.
mm-hmm. Like at
yeah,
least then I think Tony Khan gets it because he is a fan of all wrestling, and WWE is like, well, you're gonna do our way or the highway, and those people chose the highway, and it seems to be doing well for them. So I think, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just like tribalism that's gone on since the Monday Night Wars. I think it'll always exist, and so
mhm,
it's sad to see. I wish we lived in a world where we could do a WWE AEW Forbidden Door, but
yeah,
I think the worst part of that wouldn't be the two companies; it would be the fans because they'd lose their shit that their companies are working together. Because
Right?
there are diehard AEW fans who hate WWE, and there are diehard
mhm.
WWE fans who hate AEW, and they both go, they have nothing to offer for the other, right? So to see them working together, that wouldn't work, brother. Wouldn't work for me.
I do not hate the WWE. I just don't respect them as a company due to terrible choices made by the Voldemort of wrestling. Uh, yeah, just I respect so much about the lineage and the history, and there's so many things that happened in the WWF that like shaped professional wrestling, like that little period before the NWO and stuff. Like, yeah, like I respect what they did. I respect the old golden age, but uh I don't respect them as a company, especially with like the alleged cover-ups of all the accusations. And I mean, it's just like rot, it's just reeks of rot to me, the whole company. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. I admire them somewhat for being so like stringent with everything, like just cutting people, being like, "All right, you're done, you're done, you're done." Lesnar wasn't even named. He was hinted at, and he was completely dropped from any and all plans he's had for this year. So
They put him back on the roster page.
I don't think he ever left the roster page. I think a lot of people are misreporting that. I don't think he ever left it. It's kind of iffy, but I think now is probably a better time because the bad people who made those bad decisions are gone. But there's we'll see, right? It's always
There'll be more coming out, I feel.
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, do you want to talk about this Adam Copeland segment?
Yeah, holy shoot, brother. He said Jay's dead.
Yeah. It could have been Kenny,
Yeah.
you bastard.
Aw.
All right, we got a Copeland segment here. He comes out with his mysterious case. I wrote down, I saw a really cool sign. It said 316, bruv.
I saw that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, the fans were hot. He said he didn't know if he'd ever wrestle in Ottawa again, and he didn't know if he'd ever wrestle in Toronto again. The crowd relentlessly boos Toronto. He's like, it's my hometown. Come on. They weren't having it. He said he thought Christian Cage was his best friend for over 40 years, but he says Jay's dead. He's become Christian Cage. Him and Christian talked about him coming to AEW and they wanted to end their careers together. He said he didn't come to AEW to take anything from Christian Cage. He also says he didn't win at World's End, but he got to work and earned a title shot. They took him out with a concerto, a move that him and Christian Cage invented. He says he got a call from someone from his past and who had to remind him of who he is. He opens up the case and it's a 2x4 with big giant nails all over the end coming off of it. Looks pretty rough. Like, is that gonna be used in the match? Is someone
Oh,
getting
it has to be.
broken open with it? Like,
I
okay,
hope so. I
I'm
hope
ready.
so. I love the gruesome stuff.
On a dynamite on regular TV.
We'll see. I'm nervous, I'll be honest.
Is he gonna do a kill switch on it?
I hope not, but
Oh,
probably. I'm sure they got great idea. He kept saying he's gonna go after his pride and manhood with it. So, like, is he gonna take it right to his balls,
Yeah.
or is he
Ooh.
just gonna like bash Nick Wayne with it? Poor Nick Wayne.
All right, he's paying his dues, man. He's like, yeah, I'll get the shit beat out of me every week. Just get me on
yeah.
TV.
Yeah,
It's kind of the name of the game. You got to pay your dues, like for real. Like, I know nothing about the wrestling business, but that's any job.
Yeah.
You're the dishwasher, until you could start cooking, and then yeah.
yeah.
So, he says his weapon is named Spike, and him and Spike are gonna take away Cage's pride, ego, and manhood. He will make him say 2 words: "I quit." Um,
All right,
yeah,
here's my theory for this match. Are they just gonna redo the Mankind 1999 Royal Rumble I Quit match where they just play a clip of him saying "I quit" from the promo before? Because that's
That
what
would be
happens.
funny.
The Rock is like tied up and he's like holding a mic to his hands, and they play it over the speakers. But like Mankind didn't say he quit, so is something gonna be like for this where they brought up Mick Foley? He ended his
Yeah.
promo with screaming "I quit," and so is he gonna be like in a precarious situation? Then you hear "I quit" over the loudspeakers. They're like, "Oh well, I guess he quit,"
Oh, that'd be genius.
and that's how you get Adam Copeland to lose an "I quit" match.
The
and then
Toronto
music
screw job.
hits. We got Mick Foley in AEW. He's the new GM of Dynamite, and he's restarting the match.
Maybe.
No,
I
that's a
still
very
don't think.
WWE thing to do.
I still think Christian's walking away with the title. I don't think Copeland's going to win it. So, but I
Yeah.
could very well be wrong.
Think it's
It can go
Garcia's to
either
win.
way.
Yeah, I could go either way, but I'm still hung up on Garcia. I think he'll still take it eventually.
I'll give it to Takeshita.
We're not there yet. Of course, I'd book it. I'd be booking that on Wednesday. I'd be like, "Oh, Copeland, sorry, it's going to be Takeshita Christian Cage for
Yeah.
an I Quit match."
Yeah, the whiteboard. It'd be like, okay, I've got this match. Then somehow Takeshita wins. Like how? I don't know. Figure it out. You're the professionals.
He's not in the match. Well, he should.
He wins with the walls of Jericho.
Yeah, he's got like a briefcase. It's called the Takeshita in the Bank, and he can cash in on any match whenever he wants at any time, like as many times. It never runs out,
Yeah.
and so it'll be like Joe and Swerve at Dynasty, and he'll just come up and be like, "Hey, can I get in here?" And they're like, "Well, I'm not gonna tell you no." So, and he just wins.
Yeah. Yeah. He opens the briefcase and just takes the contract to a photocopier. Like 500. All right.
How do you keep having these Takeshitas in the bank? I thought you only had like one. He's like, just keep getting them.
They're printable. Yeah. Cool little segment here. I'm torn between who I want / who I think will win. What will that do to Copeland if he loses for a third time? Like I can't
Well,
see that being good for
so
his.
Well, again, you do this fluke finish with them saying "I quit" over the loudspeakers, but you can go, "Oh, I didn't quit. I'm not done with you." But you have him go away for a little bit again because that's what Adam Copeland does. Daniel Garcia beats Christian at Dynasty, hopefully with the help, and he's like in a promo, right? He could say, "Oh, I realized I couldn't beat you for the title, but now that the title's gone, I want you one-on-one," and that'll be double or nothing. Copeland Christian. One more stipulation, maybe a ladder match,
Yeah.
and then that's where Copeland gets the big win, and that's where they reconcile and they start tag teaming together, and they beat the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. That's what I would be penciling in if I were Booker Man.
How far or how long before we get Gangrel?
Maybe All In when they challenge for the tag team titles, Gangrel just gets to come out.
I'm cool with. I want the whole Brood entrance. I want Copeland and Christian looking like goth, dude. Oh, I want it. Yeah, I remember like being pretty young and watching that, like flipping over to WWF, and like it didn't really interest me back then, but it's cool, man. Cool stuff. Like they were trying to be innovative, you know. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
They won.
Yeah. Well, do we want to do highs and lows for the collision?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me start here. I'll do my low. My low was the lack of Mercedes Monet in any way, shape, or form. And my high, uh, probably the Shibata Danielson match was a really great opener. Honorable mention to Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see. For me, da, da, da. Yeah, my high was definitely kind of the same vein. It was like up there with Kyle O'Reilly. It was just good to see him back. And then of course Brian Shibata. How could you not? So yeah, I'd say 1A and 1B for me there. Then my low was Pac Solo. It was a good match, but I just kind of want more for Pac, if that makes sense.
Well,
Like
he
let's
wanted
let's
more.
yeah, exactly. Like let's skip with the squash matches and like the start, and like I just want to jump into a program with him in media res. Like let's just throw him into the deep end because I feel like our time with him is limited because he comes back and you're like, hell yeah, he's doing something cool. And then shit, he's hurt.
Maybe they got big plans on Dynamite. Like Okada beats Kingston and Pat comes out and is like, "Yo, bruv," that's Wallace. Right? He's like, "Yo, I got you. I'm gonna beat you up." So
Yeah,
hopefully that's what they got.
I hope so.
I would say my high, I'm going to give it to Kyle O'Reilly and Brian Keith just because this was my first time seeing Kyle O'Reilly and Brian Keith was phenomenal. So I think they were both really well. And then my down, this is kind of one of those where it was like overall fine, nothing was bad, but I guess I'd give it to the ending of the Kyle O'Reilly Brian Keith match where the Kingdom just came out and they were just like, "Hey, good job," and
Yeah.
that's it. You
Who's a
know,
good boy?
I really wanted something to happen after the Garcia match, like I don't know, Kill Switch ran out and beat them all up, or something to happen in this match where the Kingdom beat up Kyle O'Reilly, so one of these stories can start progressing. But
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, usually I give my down to any like botch or thing like that. That could have qualified the Sean Dean thing, but again, he recovered and was a professional, and it was maybe easy to miss if you were just kind of like passively
Yeah. Yeah,
not
no,
watching.
sometimes like for me, sometimes those like slips and stuff kind of just add to the believability. Like I say, fighting never goes off. Like it's tricky and it hurts and yeah, nothing
Mhm.
ever goes as planned. So sometimes it just looks more real that way.
don't walk into a knife fight thinking you're not going to get stabbed. You're going to get stabbed.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of thing. Like you can't do these things without getting hurt. So, and he was able to recover so well, made him look really good.
I'm gonna blame Michael Nakazawa.
Greasing up them ropes again.
Yeah. So
That's with you. What?
you've never even seen him, period, right,
No,
Chandler? He
no.
was part of the Brandon Cutler like Goober squad when they were with the Elite. Michael Nakazawa is from like DDT Pro or something, and really
Yeah.
like best friends with Kenny Omega. His gimmick was about halfway through the match, he would dig into his gooch and get a tiny bottle of baby oil and squirt it all over himself, and then like wiggle out of like moves and shit like that. So he had a pre-show match before Matt Seidel's debut. It got the turnbuckle all oily, and
Oh,
that's
is
what they.
that why he botched the shooting star press? Is because of Michael Nakazawa?
Yeah, they retconned that. They shot a bit on after that happened. They shot a bit on BT the week after of like bad before the match, and he's all wiggling up and gets the turned muscle all greasy. Then it cuts to the botch.
Aw, I mean, at least they retconned it.
Yeah, it was fun. He didn't even wrestle that many matches, so yeah, I don't even know if he's still in AEW. I think he is.
I think
Probably
he's
is.
a backstage guy. I remember hearing
Yeah.
about him with the brawl out situation with Punk and the Elite. Like Brandon Cutler was involved, Michael Nakazawa was involved, just because they were there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, really liked Collision. Nothing really took me out of it. I wasn't on my phone a lot, which is we've talked
Yeah,
about that. That's kind of
the litmus
our bar.
test.
Yeah. Um but yeah, real quick, everyone out there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a comment. Yeah, elbow drop that like button, power bomb that subscribe button. Um,
Ooh.
you'll be glad you did. Yeah, I think that might just about do it. Chad and I have some new top 5 videos in the works. We're going to get those out to you. If you haven't watched it yet, watch our top 5 bumps in AEW. Brutal bumps, or what's your terminology for that
Uh,
title?
Craziest, sickest,
Yeah,
whatever. Just like
yeah.
yeah, like just over the top insane. But I do have a few qualifiers on them, like they had to have worked out. Like they walked away pretty well uninjured for the most part, as
Yeah.
uninjured as you can, and it was like intentional, like just holy crap moments. But like so there's some things I like I didn't intentionally stuck away from like Sammy and Matt Hardy, stuff like that. So it's more like things
Yeah.
that kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that are supposed to be a crazy bump and not.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy just got a concussion. Ooh, they're going on, aren't they? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty early on. It's always the Hardys that are getting these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sammy and Cody were on that list multiple times because they were pretty nuts back in the day.
yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think that just about will do it. Um, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me real early in the morning. And yeah, you guys got anything else you want to add?
Thank you for hosting real early in the
Yeah.
morning. Something like I have one other thing. It's really small and doesn't matter. But did you know since WrestleMania 10, every 15 years they've done a brother versus brother match, and they're keeping that tradition alive, brother. Because
Oh, that's wild.
it was Owen and Brett WrestleMania 10, and then it was Matt and Jeff Hardy WrestleMania 25, and now it's Jimmy and Jey Uso. So that kind of like
Oh.
made me a little bit more excited for that match because it's very like Jay, the main eventer, and Jimmy, the brother he left behind. So like
Yeah.
I'm not super stoked about the match, but that kind of gives it a little bit more excitement, you know.
I still have no idea which is which.
I can tell the difference, but it's because I watch it so
Yeah.
much, right? Like
Yep. I could
they
have
have different faces,
no
but
clue.
I get why someone who doesn't watch can't. Like I still can't tell the difference between the Young Bucks sometimes.
True. Yeah. Yeah. One says yeet, the other says no yeet.
Yeah, okay, let's look for the yeet.
Cool. All right. Well, that will do it. Thank you all for listening. If you are still here at the end, we really appreciate you. And don't forget to check us out in the audio realm. What do we got? Spotify, Apple
Apple,
Music, Amazon.
probably iHeart, I think. Wherever all major audio podcasts are found.
Mhm.
Yeah. You want to zone out in the car, listen to a couple couple wrestling nerds talk about wrestling. We're there for you. But cool, yeah. Thank you for watching and have a good one. Check us out coming up in a few days for our Dynamite review. Cool. And WWE. What are we calling that? There's a
The
name for it?
WWE cap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we recorded one and I hit post on it and then ran to work. Then by the time I got home and realized it actually something goofy happened and it didn't post, SmackDown was over. I was like, this will no longer be timely. So it's in the vaults for our Patreon people.
Yeah, the first WWE cap will be available as our first Patreon reward. It'll be our only Patreon award.
The lost
Perfect.
episodes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, yep. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching / listening, and check us out next time. Bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.